Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGME Cast. It's Monday night truck series night, one of the best nights of the week, and we are here with the ANZCAR Truck Series. As always, we've got 130 laps for you tonight from Bristol, and of course, I am joined by the one, the only, the international man of mystery, Carl, with you. Good evening, Carl.
Good evening, Stuart. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Bristol Motor Speedway. Yes, Thunder Valley, we are here indeed, and it should be a good one tonight.
Yeah, looking forward to tonight. It feels like we've had a month off just because we didn't broadcast on Thursday night. I'm feeling all refreshed. My camera trigger fingers are all callus-free and arthritis rejuvenated, so all ready to go here. And this track is going to be challenging. We've got 32 starters here tonight so far. There's still a couple of minutes for people to jump in if they wish to, but a little bit different to what we've seen over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, another bumper field in trucks, which is great to see, but it is another short track, which is always tricky. Bristol is one of those tracks that can easily catch you out, and it is a great coliseum for that reason. It's going to be a battle out there. They are going to be fighting their way through the field, and it won't be long until they start catching up to some of the slower trucks, and you're going to get some lap traffic in the way for the leaders, so it should be a pretty good fight.
And as usual, our routine supporter, Trev Micklemore's jumped into the chat, so good evening. Good evening, Trev. Welcome to another week on the channel. We no doubt at some stage we'll be calling out Mitch Motorsport's name. I see Josh Micklemore so far second fastest. Daniel Heddersheed running in the trucks tonight as well. Edward Foster just jumps up to second place. Danny G, the silent assassin, is up into P1 provisionally. In practice, of course, at the moment, so a really strong start. And Carl, before we do jump into the standings, a couple of team movements announced today as well, and we're going to get to see a couple of those tonight. I did try to jump on board with Tristan Cock, who's running the Aussie Esports livery, as a move is made there.
Well, this is all news for me because I've only just got home and not had a chance to check my socials.
Oh, well. Well, I don't mean to dump you in the deep end then, but yeah, a couple of new signings to the Aussie Esports team. Tristan Cock jumping on board there, and it does escape me as well. There was one other signing, but I have misplaced my notes, so we'll come back to that in a minute. I'll have a look at that quickly while if you can jump into our standings as they are, and we'll have a quick look at how everything fares as we head into the latter part of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jason Martin still leads the championship. Unsurprising from Jason Martin. We know that guy is pretty quick sometimes. But Jason Martin up in first position with 271 points. 23 points behind is Andrew Dyson, another driver that is very, very quick and is looking to try and get a first ANZCAR championship under his belt. The reformant Aidan Schultz is sitting in P3 in the championship, 35 off the lead. P4 is Matty Raymond, 36 points down. P5 is Josh Micklemore, 38 down. P6 is Stevie Dubb, 48 off the lead. 49 off the lead, and 7th is Danny G. 8th we have Scotty Griffiths, having a really solid season up there with 52 points down off the leader. 56 off the lead is Dave Douglas, and Luke Trahes is in 10th, 80 points down.
There you go. So it is Brett Campbell as well who's jumped in. No wonder I can't remember his name. That's a new one for me, but Tristan jumps across as well. So a couple of good signings there, expanding the team at Ausius. So you can see Tristan there running the familiar 550, but with the new livery on board. So that's a good addition to that team, and looks like they're growing for 2022. Welcome to the stream, Scotty. Just calling out for Aaron Hayden and Luke Georgeson and the After Dark Sim Racing team. Of course, we'll get a bit of coverage tonight as well.
Yeah, that's it. Luke's going to hope for a solid night tonight. Just try and keep it out of trouble. Sort of mid-range pace at the moment for Luke, and still getting to grips sometimes with some of these shorter tracks, but getting a solid job. And we've seen Luke have some really good runs recently. Aaron Hayden as well, one of those drivers that has been pretty quick. Not out on the track at the moment though, so just waiting until we get into qualifying, I imagine, or even the race to jump out there. But a few drivers that are quick at the moment. Danny G up front, as you said. Foster in second, Jaden Russell third, fourth for Josh Micklemore, and Daniel Heddersheed in fifth position. So good running from those guys.
Speaking of, we'll get a quick mention. Big Dave Douglas, Dave Double D, has jumped into the com box. Good evening, Dave.
Hey boys, how are we?
Very well tonight, mate. Very well. Just thought you might be able to give us a little bit of a live read on how things are filling out on track.
Yeah, well, the quality line is definitely the bottom. Because usually it's up the top and anything else. But for some reason, the speed's down the bottom here in a truck. You can get in down the bottom, and if you can hold that tight and then get on the power nice and early and get a good time out of there. But it's going to be who can go the bravest and who can go the deepest into the turn, basically.
So qualifying coming up shortly, and predicting cautions tonight, Dave.
Oh, mate, there's a lot of apologies going on out here, so I don't like our chances of getting too much green racing, to be honest. But I guess we'll see what happens.
Could be a long night for me and Carl then, I think.
It's going to be longer for Stuart because I'm going to be asking the questions.
Oh dear goodness me, what have I let myself into?
Glorious, mate, glorious.
This is how last week started, and it ended up in an absolute calamity. So we'll see how we get on, but we'll check in with you through the night. Dave, you're going to stick around in the green room, or are you going to jump off?
Yeah, mate, yeah. And I'll be there. Feel free to drag me in and have a chat, mate, to pass some time, keep me awake.
Might do exactly that during some cautions. We'll let you go, Dave, so you can get some practice under your belt, mate. We'll catch up with you during a caution or two.
Yeah, too easy, boys. Have a good call.
Catch you, mate. So Dave Douglas there, and I think you might be right. I think we're going to be in for a little bit of a longer night. The practice I was watching before the stream started, plenty of incidents, but of course it is called practice for a reason, and that's the time to do it if you're going to get it out of your system. Stevie Dubb just jumps up into fastest during practice with a 14.94, 1/100th quicker than Danny G behind him, albeit it's not on the monitor there, but just slightly quicker. So there he is there. It's kind of funny,
pretty good out there tonight, and setting some good lap times. So we'll see how that one goes.
So a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. We've got we use Discord as probably the core tool that we use to communicate drivers and otherwise. We have a green room that's supposed to be a room for people to jump into if we're about to drag him into the booth. And we've had Andrew Dyson and Phil Worley jump in there. Do you know anything about that, Carl?
No, I do not know.
If they'd mind if we bring them down. Of course, neither of them running tonight, so that's a little bit interesting. We normally expect so. And of course, Dyso's there, so maybe he will jump out on track. But we might just leave them be. I think we might be having a little gas bag. So,
quick chat to Mr. Dave Douglas and just getting a bit of inside information from Double D, of course, letting us know that the bottom is tight tonight.
That's how we always prefer it, of course. It's never any good if you don't have a tight bottom. Anyway, we move on. It's hopefully not going to set the standard for things tonight, but having a look at defending series...
things to come tonight, I think.
Defending series champion Edward Foster there, who's just probably not going to be all that glad that we jumped on board with him. Given that there's now a truck on its lid, but there's plenty of slides going on. It could be a new episode of Destruction Derby here tonight, Carl.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And one of the things about Bristol is you've got the dual pit lane as well, which can throw you off, and that can cause a lot of problems because you're going to have people entering and exiting the pit sometimes, and you get a little bit confused by that, and then you can have accidents, and also you can miss your pit box because you get into the wrong pit lane as well. So that's going to be something to keep an eye out for tonight. I'll touch a little bit more on that later on, of course, but yeah, it is one of those tracks that is very... it's a tricky place to get right sometimes. It's not the easiest track to race on, but if it goes well, sometimes you will see a nice long green stint. So hopefully we'll get that tonight, and we'll get that really good close racing that you get only at Bristol.
Yeah, of course, that dual pit lane can cause a little bit of trouble as well. We see it even when we don't have the dual pit lane. Sometimes some of the guys miss their boxes in the flurry that can happen under a caution. So we'll see how that goes tonight. That could definitely be the case, as you see in the background there. I think that might have been Riley Curtis just up into the wall. So it's going to be a difficult place for everyone to negotiate, and looking forward to it. So we've got 130 laps here tonight. So the expected race time, it's going to be around about an hour, but I suspect it might go a little bit longer here with some cautions chucked into the mix. So Jaden Russell's just done a good time, 14.95, moved himself up into third in the practice session. So expect to see a strong performance from him tonight. We're on board with Ben Vickers at the moment in the Juice Digital 77 entry. So he'll be looking for a little bit of a return to form. He's had a couple of tough weeks over the last few weeks, so we'll see how he fares tonight out here. Not too sure how to expect what's going to happen tonight. I've got a minute 49 to find out until qualifying starts here on the network. Of course, we've got a full week this week. We are back with the Cup on Thursday night, but between now and then, we've got the Oz Pro-Am and Pass 2 happening tomorrow night. We'll be on the air from 7:20 tomorrow night with that one as we head to Sebring for the first of the GT round. So we've got the GT3s back in action tomorrow night with Oz Pass Pro-Am and Pass 2. And then we are, of course, back on Wednesday night with the Thunder Series. And the Thunder Series heads to the Texas track for 120 laps there. And then, of course, back with the Chase, which I'm looking forward to. Got the Roval this week, Carl. It's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, the Roval is always a bit of a tricky track, and I imagine one of those names you mentioned before of either Wally or Dyson could be looking good at the Roval. We know that DPR are quick there, and who's going to be able to take it to them in the Cup Series? It'll be good to have the Chase back on, of course. And we'll be having the interview with Jason Martin as well this week.
I was about to say that, Jason Martin on the air for the interview between qualifying and the race, so that should be interesting to hear what one of the ANZCAR veterans has to say about himself. I'm assuming all things mead and horns and all that usual things got covered, but I'd like to know a little bit more about the man behind the performances that just continue to coming out week after week here on FGM Ecast.
Yeah, it was a good chat with Jason. It's nice to actually have a good old chinwag with him and speak some other things as well. And obviously, Jason's second passion in life is AFL, and I know nothing about that. So unfortunately, I couldn't really converse in that kind of area. I know that there is a ball used, and that's about it.
Aerial ping pong to anyone outside of Victoria, that is for sure. So we've got qualifying here tonight. We might... who are we looking at tonight? Who do you want to jump on board with? Do you want to jump on with Tristan and we'll just give him a little bit of coverage and a bit of congratulations for joining on with Aussie Esports?
I reckon that's a good idea.
Well, let's do that.
Check out that nice new paint job.
See how he gets on at qualifying. Let him take us on a couple of flying laps here. It'll be a quick qualifying session tonight, of course, with the lap times down in the 14. So just waiting for him to head out of the pit lane, and he will take us on a couple of flying laps here. And not too sure where he will fit in, of course, but we will find out soon enough. He'll be heading out, just sitting in pit lane at the moment. If he doesn't head out in a couple of minutes, we will get on with it. Edward Foster's already done his first flying lap of 14.95. Andrew Dyson right behind him. Aaron Hayden ripping lap 15.26. Thanks, Elatrix. Thanks for the subscription there as Tristan Cock just heads out on his way.
Hayden's second lap did not go as well, though. Pushed a little bit too hard on that first lap in the After Dark racing car and made a big mistake coming out the corner and absolutely wrecked the front of that, so completely destroyed it. So let's jump on with Bristol Doctor. So let's take us around a quick lap of Bristol. So into the very high banked corners here. You can see just how high the banking is here at Bristol. It is absolutely ridiculous. Of course, we are on its natural concrete surface, not dirt, which is a nice bonus. A bit of a classic Bristol moment. That is how quick a lap goes, though. Barely able to talk it through it. So just keeping us like midline here is Tristan. Not the fastest line. You're generally going to want to try and take a little bit of a tighter line into those corners. But the midline is generally the safer line. So the second lap should probably be a slightly faster lap for Tristan. Gets across the line, manages to just eke it up, but still only in P10 for the moment.
It's got a fair few still to go. Let's jump on board Matt Hunter, who's serious administrator, but has been performing well lately. He's just moving up the field, which is good to see. First lap out moves him into P8, 15.09. So that's not a bad start. Dave Douglas has just moved in just behind him. Gary Wellman jumps up in front. Josh Mickelmore has concluded in P4. Scotty Griffiths currently sitting P5 as Matty Hunter concludes his second lap, moves up a little bit further into P7. Good second lap there for him. So there's still a number of drivers yet to go out. Danny G, Jason Martin are two of those drivers. We'll keep an eye on them to see when they might head out. Here you go, Justin Martin. Sorry, my apologies, Jason Martin. Just sitting at the exit to pit lane. He'll just be biding his time. There's still just over 2 minutes to go in qualifying as he starts to make his way out onto the track now. So we'll stick with him. Not too many out there at the moment trying to set times. Bailey Barnacote just trying to improve on his second lap around. He did a 15.46 first time out. Does he improve on that? No, he doesn't. So Bailey Barnacote looking around P21 as it sits. So how does Jason Martin go as he is on his first flying lap here in the purple 21 Mitch Motorsport entry around the circuit? He's going to come up and complete his first flying lap as he crosses the start finish line there, straight up into P2 with a 14.94. There's a 100th between himself and Stephen Williams. Second lap looks to have been the faster of the two. How does Martin go? Can he take out pole position here? Crosses the start finish line, and no, he cannot. A 15.26 second time around there, so no improvement. He's going to be looking to start off the front row as teammate Danny G jumps out onto the circuit.
Yeah, the purple Mitch Motorsport car could not go purple for times, just missing out for Jason Martin. Really good lap from Stevie Dubb. We've seen some really good qualifying laps from Stephen Williams recently, and setting some really good qualifying times. As I say, he's had some really good results and then had some really strong races from that. So keep an eye on Stevie Dubb.
And qualifying obviously important every night, but can be more so tonight. You don't want to get caught up in that mid-pack and the potential risk that poses. Danny G just goes straight to number one, 14.93, straight out of the box. Can he go faster second lap around? He's going to come around to complete that lap now. How does he go? No, just slightly slower as well, 14.97. So, but still sitting there in provisional pole position with just on 20 seconds to go. So, looks like at this stage no one else is planning on heading out. Matty Ray deciding not to set a qualifying time, so that can only bode well for his evening as he works his way from the back of the field. So, got the usual suspects up at the top there. So, we'll run through the grid once that comes up as the session switches over now and qualifying comes to a conclusion here. Round 8 of the ANZCAR Truck Series on FGM eCast for your Monday evening. Wherever you're watching from, welcome to the stream. Do jump into the chat. Say hello, let us know you're watching. Do stick around for Carl's quiz as well, which of course will be on at some stage throughout the evening randomly, but we'll certainly be bringing that too. It's 130 laps tonight, and we've just concluded qualifying. It is Danny G who's going to be on P1 for Mitch Motorsport with Stephen Williams of DPR alongside him. Then it's Jason Martin, Edward Foster off row 2 with Jaden Russell and Josh Mickelmore off 3. Then Scotty Griffiths and Norm Clark off 4. Good effort from Norm Clark there, sneaking into P8 with Matty Hunter and Aidan Schultz off 5. Then Andrew Dyson and Brent Hobbs off row 6 as we flip over the page. It's Gary Wellman and Dave Douglas off 7 with Ben Vickers and Dwayne Priest off 8. Then Daniel Heddersheed and Glenn McLeod off 9 with Riley Curtis and Justin Howe off 10. Followed by Aaron Hayden and Tristan Cott off 11. Then it's Daniel Weaver and Mr. Jamie Budd off 12. Then Bailey Barnacote, Luke Georgeson off 13 with Igor Burkick and Matty Ray off 14. Lachlan Urquio and Simon Heddersheed off row 15 with Mick Taylor and Noddy Tompkins off 16 with Justin Witcher off row 17 to bring up our field of 33 trucks that are going to be starting tonight. I'm not sure Justin Witcher is actually going to make the track here tonight, but other than that we do have the 32 starters on the grid.
Yeah, quite a lot of cars out there tonight, and as I said, it's going to be packed pretty quickly here at Bristol. It's one of those shorter tracks, and as I said, it's going to be it's relatively quick. They're going to catch up to the back of the rest of the pack, I'd say. So it does get quite congested out there, and they're travelling at some serious speed, but it does get a little bit packed up, and if you lose that pack a little bit, then all of a sudden you do drop off.
So Scott Barton said there, good luck Aaron Hayden and Luke Georgeson, looking after the After Dark Sim Racing boys, and said Zellatrix looking after Luke Georgeson as well. So a lot of support for the After Dark Sim Racing team. Good to see. Welcome to the stream, all of you. Join us for our Monday evening. I was just having a look at this fantastic looking track here. Huge crowd as you would expect at a circuit like this.
Yeah, absolutely packed, and they're all following social distancing, of course, and being very good to each other. But it's going to be Danny G leading us away shortly. Of course, his truck will do an extra lap here because it is such a short lap.
Yeah, the double formation lap, of course. We get to see all these liveried trucks run past. A lot of time goes into those, and some of them are absolutely fantastic. So, just waiting for things to get underway here. We'll try and keep an eye on the whole field. Of course, it's challenging at the start of these races to do just that with so much action that can happen. But as Carl mentioned, Danny G, Stevie Dub will be looking to get us away here. Jason Martin, Edward Foster behind them, so they'll want to make sure they get on their gas early. The likes of Josh Mickelmore and Jaden Russell as well involved in this starting 6. As we're about to go, the light goes green, and it is Danny G and Stevie Dub who get us away here at Bristol.
Really good start for Stevie W. Actually had to let off a little bit because he almost jumped ahead of Danny G at the start there, and he just lifted off a tiny bit, so he didn't do that. So he got too good a start there for Stevie Dub, and Jason Martin really trying to put the pressure on him already. They are running relatively smooth at the moment, too wide, but we have got an incident further back. There is a car up in the wall. Did not see who it was, unfortunately. It was Daniel Heddersheed and...
What's up? Maybe Mick Taylor, Tristan Cock, mate?
Glenn McLeod caught up in there as well. Glenn McLeod's got his engine done, and Tristan Cock, unfortunately, he is very much got a lot of damage to that truck, sadly. So, yeah, a couple of trucks have got out loose in front of him, and Tristan Cock's got nowhere to go. He's just got caught up behind there, tried to slam on the brakes, got caught there, and then got spun by the 17, I think it was. So Bradley Cock just catching the back of Tristan Cock and just turning him around, unfortunately, as they tried to slow down and get the trucks into some form of safe way through that carnage.
So we'll go back here. We'll have a look at things from the start on board with Glenn McLeod and just see if we can unpack this one. In the 84 entry there. From the start here, looks like so come around here. What's happened?
So we'll see one of the trucks just get a little bit tight to the wall. I think there's a little bit of contact. I think.
Oh no, there it is. There it is.
There it is. Yeah,
it just goes.
And
so, innocent,
that, unfortunately.
Yeah, innocent victim there for Glenn McLeod, and Tristan Cock just trying to avoid the incident. Just checks up as you'd expect, and unfortunately copped it. So
unfortunately, Glenn McLeod's going to be out of it. I believe his engine is done, so it's a big shame. And Tristan Cock's in for some repairs, but I don't know if that is that truck will be able to go. So the Aussie Esports debut not going too well for Tristan Cock. Unfortunately, just really unlucky to get caught up in that incident.
Well,
so
that was certainly early.
Yeah. A little bit earlier than expected sometimes, but that is Bristol for you. That's how it goes. So we are going to go back to it now, and we're going to go back to green flag racing. Tristan Cox just getting out of pit lane, so he's just going to be a lap down, but just a single lap. So the pace truck should be coming in relatively shortly, and we're going to be getting back underway for another start. It's going to be Danny G leading the way. Stephen Williams just going to have to try not to get such a good start this time, so he doesn't have to lift that little bit. Just got on the gas a little bit too early and just had to just ease off a tiny bit, and that just cost him a little bit more time than he gained. So how's it going to go this time? And of course he has got that fierce pack behind him of Martin and Foster as well. So Martin and Foster sitting right behind him with Jaden Russell and Josh Mickelmore, Norman Clark, Scott Griffiths, Aidan Schultz and Andrew Dyson. So there is a lot of names there that are going to be fighting for the front.
Teammates obviously together here are going to be able to try and play it a little bit. Jason Martin there right behind Danny G. So how are they going to work Stevie Dub over if they can? Got just half a lap to go before we go green again. Now we communicate and try and get the wall over Stevie Dub if they can. Of course, Josh Micklemore up on the high line as we're about to go here. When will Danny G drop the hammer? And he goes well as well. Minimise the wheel spin, gets away very well indeed. Stevie Dub though quick to respond, so he's able to close in if he can. Close the door on Jason Martin there and close out that second position. Martin there just struggling a little bit on the relaunch, allowing Edward Foster to open the door on him and keep him down the line. You can see there Micklemore trying to get down to the inside, and he does to get with his teammate and is able to do that. So we've got Mitch Motorsport. Oh, we've got on the back of there Aiden Schultz.
Manages to keep it in a straight line. I think we're going to keep green somehow. That was a big moment. Let's go back to have a bit of a look at that one.
So it looks like Hobbs is down there on the inside. He's managed to not cause a caution, and I think Ben Vickers as well might have copped some damage on that one too.
So yeah, Aiden Schultz just...
it's Josh Micklemore's gone round in the front as well. So I'm not sure what happened there. I saw it looked like there was an incident between... Looks like there's damage on the right-hand rear corner there of the Mitch Motorsport entry of Josh Micklemore.
So that seems to be like a check-up up the front, because Danny G actually sort of got caught up with Foster.
Oh, he did too.
So yeah, Danny G's just lost the rear end as a car that was just on the low line. I'm just trying to see who that was. Brent Hobbs, unfortunately, just lost it in front of them, I think, and that caused Danny G to check up.
He was down on the... Oh, right, okay, so yeah, I can see it there. So we'll just bring this one back a little bit, and you'll be able to see exactly what it is. We'll jump on board with Danny G. And we'll see what happens here. He comes around the bend, and all of a sudden, he's confronted... Sorry, I must be one round too early. He comes around the corner and he's just confronted by a stationary truck. There it is there.
Yeah.
And what that does, if you see in the background, is he's gone to avoid it. Foster's gone to avoid him, gone up into the wall, just trying to avoid everything that's happened, and unfortunately got back down into Danny G. Nothing that can be done about that. He's just bounced back off the wall. And that has caused this procession. Jason Martin jumps on the anchors to try and avoid everything. And then you can see there Norm Clark coming through and collecting Josh Micklemore. So just that knock-on effect, unfortunately, of Danny G trying to avoid a car re-entering the circuit. So that is unfortunate because it's caused a huge check-up at the front with our race leaders.
Yeah, that was just a sort of one of those cascading effects, really. It just went downhill from there. And accordion effect, really, and it's just squeezed itself in, and then everybody's just got no room to go. I was just going to mention on the Aiden Schultz one, just make contact with Norman Clark. So those guys did a great job of saving that one from becoming a wreck. But then, just as I was about to talk that one through, the wreck happened. So yeah, second caution of the night. Stevie Dub has managed to keep it clean and keep it out there in the DPR Phoenix Smokers entry. Number 98, and is currently leading just ahead of Danny G. Gary Wellman up 10 positions. Gary Wellman has just absolutely snuck through the field, and I think a lot of that was to do with that bit of incident, and Gary Wellman just having a fantastic start and restart as well, just getting all the way up there. So really nice job from Gary Wellman to get through that chaos and get himself into a really good position, because he just managed to avoid all of the chaos and then just slide up there and basically effectively sit himself behind Danny G. So really nice drive from Gary Wellman there.
And from Justin Howe too, he's equally up 11 positions into P9, so he's had a strong start. And Luke Georgeson up 10 positions, he's now into P16 from P26 where he qualified, so a good strong start for him as well.
Yeah, really good start from those guys. So nice to see. Obviously, one driver that's going to be a little bit less happy is going to be Foster. He's got quite a bit of damage on the front of that truck. But if you're going to get damage, Bristol's probably the place to be.
Yeah, not ideal, of course. Glenn McLeod just jumping in, shouted about the early incident, but he'll be back next week. Good to see, Glenn. Good to see you out there, and look forward to seeing you back next week. Unfortunate start here. Can happen on these short tracks. And thanks for tuning in as we're about to go green again. Oh, Stevie Tubb doesn't even let me get. We're about to go green out fully before he drops the hammer, and he is off and running And Gary Wellman wastes no time whatsoever in getting underneath Danny G, moving himself up into P2. So it's Williams from Wellman and Danny G in the top 3 positions, with Foster, Martin, Schultz, Clark, Dyson, Howe, and if you don't mind, Hunter in the top 10 now, as we hopefully get some green flag running for a period here. You can see it's all going on back in the pack here. Andrew Dyson is dealing with Norm Clark. Matt Hunter trying to get the move done on Clark as well, has got a little bit of damage. And just there's a 3 wide there, and the 78 gets into Norm Clark. It's Justin Howe, and Clark goes down, and that'll bring out our next caution. Clark just got caught as the meat in the sandwich there, and Howe wasn't able to keep the bread from the butter, and that sent him around. So it is our 3rd caution.
Yeah, that's really, really unfortunate there. Norman just getting caught out there. Justin Howe just getting right into the back and just tagging him. And Norman Clark could not do anything about that. Puts it on the pivot point.
And around she goes.
Not much you can do in a situation like that. So really, really unfortunate for Norman Clark there. And that's not what he wants from the season, of course. Foster coming into pit lane to get some repairs done, because Foster was just hemorrhaging positions on that restart. So it looks like Foster's coming in to try and get a little bit of repair done. Obviously, you don't have much time, but under caution, that's the time to do it. So I think this being the 3rd caution, we could probably go for a quick question.
Sad looking thing that is. Anyway, yes, let's do it.
So a Guinness World Record was set at Bristol Motor Speedway back in 2008. What was the world record?
I'm going to go with something to do with the crowd.
Okay.
That doesn't fill with any confidence at all, Carl. Largest crowd at a race meet?
No.
No?
No, you're warm. You got the crowd bit right. I'll go with that.
Excellent. Were they all wearing one particular colour?
No, they were not.
I have no idea, Carl. Not tonight.
All right, I will give the chat a few moments to Google that one. I mean, to answer that with faithful and honest moments. Let's
repeat the question again.
Yes, back in 2008, a world record was set at Bristol Motor Speedway. What was that world record? And it's something to do with the crowd.
Well, there we go. At least I got that bit right, without the help of Dr. Google. Thanks for tuning in, Riley. I'm pretty sure you should be driving right about now. Yeah, you should be, but thanks for tuning in and commenting as always, live from your car. Pity we can't stay green. Likewise, agree with that, but I'm sure we'll get there. Perhaps, Riley, you can answer the question about the world record that was set here at Bristol in...
I think if he does that, I think we'll have to be in contact with all the administrators, because he'll deserve extra points or something, like a bonus point for the race.
Oh, Glenn McLeod with a really good suggestion. Largest Mexican wave. I don't mind
He has
that
got
one.
it.
Oh, there you go.
Congratulations, Glenn McLeod. You might have been out of this race early, but you are the winner of the first question of the night.
Oh, I like it. I didn't even think of that. You know, where my mind did go down the route of like most hot dogs consumed during a suburban race meet or something like that. You know, one of those sort of records. But no, I didn't even think of Mexican wave. Well done.
I doubt you could keep record of the amount of hot dogs consumed at one of these race meets. I imagine it's a fair amount.
Maybe one or two. Just one or two. So we've got Gary Wellman up next to Stevie Dubb. So that impressive start continues as he's now up 11 positions. It's been a while since we've seen Gary on the podium, so a nice return. Of course, a long way to go now, still 106 laps here. And then it is an ominous sign in whichever rearview mirror you look in, with Danny G and Jason Martin filling that second row. So when you're going green there, and Aiden Schultz jumps a little bit but has to hold up as Stevie Dubb decides when we get going. Didn't quite work out, but Schultz has still got a good start in P4 there, or P5, as it is Williams and Wellman who take us away. Danny G just protecting that low line with Jason Martin on the high line. So the Mitch Motorsport boys trying to get something to work, see if they can impact at the front of this field.
Yeah, they're trying their best to keep that position, keep Aiden Schultz away at the moment. Again, unfortunately, Josh Micklemore has been the unlucky one in the Mitch Motorsport group. He's down in 25th at the moment, possibly 24th now as I speak, moving up the field just a little tiny bit, but not too much damage on that truck, so he should be able to work his way up there as long as nothing too bad happens. Meanwhile, Aiden Schultz making a bit of a move on Danny G, trying to get down on the low side. They're going to get very close, a little bit of contact between Danny G and Aiden Schultz. That's going to back him up. Andrew Dyson makes the pounce on Aiden Schultz, tries to get through, doesn't quite make it this time on the high side. Aiden Schultz and Andrew Dyson are going to go side by side, and Dyso makes the move there, gets in front of Aiden Schultz. Nice move by Dyso.
Gets down there looking at the back of the DPR, Southwell Lifton Hoist, simrigs.com entry. Phoenix Smokers is a hell of a lot of...
And I'd say jump up to Stevie Dub at the moment to watch the battle behind him of Jason Martin and Gary Wellman, because that's one to watch. They are side by side and have been for a couple of laps now. The 21 on the 45, Jason Martin on the inside. We've got a beautiful contrast of green and purple at the moment, but the purple looks to be making a slight impression on the green as it stands. Jason Martin just edging ever so lightly forwards each lap, and eventually he'll get to a point where he can just slide up a little bit and block in Gary Wellman. Wellman doing a great job defending that position, but he's just losing out a little bit on that high side, just unable to carry the speed. Martin almost there. It's getting so close, this battle now. Martin's still trying his best. Gary Wellman just has to lift a little bit, and this is going to give Martin the opportunity to slide up into P2.
He's closed that one out there. Well, we're not looking to sit too high for it, but of course Danny G trying to get down underneath him as well.
Oh, we've got a big accident down the back. Sorry, Stuart. We have got a big one down the back as quite a few cars. It looks like Scotty Griffiths is involved in that one. I saw a few of the SRM boys as well. So
Noddy and Mick together there. Noddy Tompkins, Mick Taylor. And looks like Brent Hobbs involved in that one as well. But of course Noddy and Mick teammates.
It looks like it was between Igor Burkick and Ben Vickers, unfortunately. So Burkick's just gone down on Vickers, and that's caused the big wreck. And then unfortunately, Burkick sort of wobbled around the track a little bit and caught the SRM car of I think it was Mick Taylor, the 89 there, and that is that one. That's a big one.
Well, he got loose right in front and then clipped one of the guys as well, yeah, as you said. And they end up running into one another as the teammates, so it hasn't worked out well at all.
No, disastrous there for a lot of cars. That was a rough one there, especially on Mick. He just got sort of really caught out in that one,
didn't he? Gail jumping into the chat. Welcome, Gail. Not impressed with this number of cautions this early on. A little bit of patience required. Absolutely.
Yeah, unfortunately, sort of Noddy just got under Mick after that incident and rolled him over, unfortunately. So it was just absolute disaster there for that team. Not what you want to have happen. Meanwhile,
number of drivers in pit lane.
Yeah, a lot of drivers have come into pit lane to put on some new tyres, so deciding that now is the time. I was just going to mention their teammate, Mr. Matty Ray, he in the 83. He didn't get involved in that, unsurprisingly. Matty Ray is somehow avoiding the incidents, as is often the way. I'm sure he sprays his truck with some form of repellent for damage and crashes. And everybody really wants to get some of that on their truck as well at some stage. But he managed to keep that one relatively clean and also get through pit lane. So he's on some fresh tyres. Riley Curtis on fresh tyres. So Riley Curtis is the first car on fresh tyres now in that pack. So watch out for Riley, see how this one goes. And we'll see how this one plays out at the restart, of course.
Absolutely. So we've got a little while to go still here. As I said, 37 over 130 laps gone, so plenty of time for everyone to
Mick and Foster coming in again just for repairs, sorry. So a few trucks coming in just to get those final repairs done, just get a little bit of spit and polish and hopefully a little bit of extra turtle wax on that car to make it go slightly faster in a straight line, despite the massive big chunks of it missing. But they are going to really try their best out there because it's one of those nights where you might have some damage, but you can probably make something of it if you can keep the truck going.
Yeah, absolutely. Just about trying to keep the truck clean for as long as possible. Lachlan Urquio, one of those drivers, he was started down in P29. He's now up 14 spots into P15. Luke Georgeson now 16 up into P10. So that'll please the After Dark Sim Racing supporters in the audience. So as we're about to go green again, so hopefully for a more extended period of time here, Mitch Motorsport truck of Jason Martin looking nice and clean, along with that of Stevie Dub. As the pace truck drops down into pit lane and Stevie Williams gets away straight away, gets a good jump on Jason Martin this time. So Martin now under pressure from Gary Wellman behind him. So Wellman, can he get that position back? Looks like he's got... No, not quite able to carry that through. So Martin gets a good run there. Dave Douglas on the back of Danny G as well. So got the battle for fourth position, and then there is a gaggle of cars headed by Dwayne Priest, Matty Hunter in that behind them. Aiden Schultz rapidly sliding down the field now, and Matty Ray involved in that one as well.
Matty Ray's luck has come to an end tonight as he's got involved with Aiden Schultz. So we'll go back and have a bit of a look at that one. So it looks like Aiden Schultz has actually just got caught up with another truck there, and unfortunately Matty Ray had nowhere to go. So it was the 186 of Daniel Weaver, unfortunately. Yeah, so Aiden Schultz just getting tagged just slightly on the side, just a little bit, maybe a little bit too low for Aiden Schultz, and then around he goes. So I think Aiden Schultz might have thought he had a little bit more gap than he did and just got caught up with that one. So Schultzy getting all the black cats tonight, unfortunately. Things are not going his way tonight. And then Matty Ray just nowhere to go there, and just sitting there and waiting for those trucks to pass before anyone can release their brakes. So, yeah, really unfortunate there for all the drivers concerned.
I think that might have even been... No, it wasn't. You were right. Lachlan Urquio, the second truck to get into him there. So, Urquio got a little bit of damage to the right-hand front corner of the 42 entry. It was the second truck on the scene, so... Well, Carl, at this rate, we will be here until the Cup on Thursday night. So I hope you're wearing your comfy tracksuit pants tonight, mate, because it'll be a little while.
We're in for a long one tonight. Look, it's the thing of Bristol is once it starts flowing, it goes well. Unfortunately, you do get these you get these moments where you get a lot of cautions early on sometimes, and then it clears itself out a little bit as a few trucks drop off, a few drivers drop out, unfortunately. But it seems to be one of those nights where the cautions keep stacking, nobody can get into a bit of a flow.
I just dragged Riley Curtis up into the booth. Good evening, Riley.
Evening, gents.
How did you get on with the quiz there, mate? Did you know the Mexican wave was the answer to the question?
No, I had to go back to green by the time that was asked, so...
Couldn't jump onto Dr. Google to find out? It does encourage me that you're able to jump into and type on the YouTube chat while you're driving around the track under caution. It's a very impressive skill. I enjoy it very much.
Yeah, it's cautions under here, they're pretty much a walking pace, so it's pretty good. It's easy to do.
What's the plan from here, mate? You're sitting in P9, up 10 positions, so just survival at the moment?
Yeah, I got the back of Micklemore on one of the early caution side, a tiny bit of damage. I've cleared some of that and taken freshies, so it doesn't mean a huge deal here, but I believe I'm the first car in the field on fresher tyres, so we'll see.
You are indeed, in fact, the first car on fresher tyres, so, and no new livery tonight, mate. Disappointing.
Yeah, the truck's staying red for the end of the year, and the Cup car will stay pink, and we'll have to think of something unique for next year.
You want to quickly give yourself a plug while you're on the air, mate?
Yeah, good plug, Riley. Good job, mate.
So, Riley Curtis, you do, what do you do? Obviously designs liveries for iRacing.
Sorry, I missed that, boys. We're going green.
All right, I'll let you go.
Catches.
Mr. Riley Curtis, as humble as ever, but getting ready to go green here at Bristol. Away they go. Stevie Dub gets a good restart there, just ahead of Jason Martin. Still Gary Wellman trying to get back that position. Can't quite do it this time round. Jason Martin just closing the door quite aggressively. Gets a good run on Stevie Dub, though, by closing that door. Gonna slightly get ahead here, will he? Jason Martin looking to get the lead here early on in this stint. Stevie Dub on the outside, really trying to hold on there. We saw before, though, that Jason Martin can just chip away at you once he gets under there. This time, though, Steve Williams manages to get enough speed to get in front of Martin and stop him from doing that. Stevie Dub closes the door and keeps himself out in the lead at the moment. One of the Atari cars is down in the wall. I just saw, not sure which one that was. I think it might be Norman Clark.
Yes, it was.
Somebody's gone into a wall there. Unfortunate incident. Maybe a engine's gone on that one. But a few drivers getting unlucky out there. I think Andrew Dyson might be one of those drivers that's gone unlucky, unfortunately, as he has a iRacing penalty that's just snuck up and a problem there. It was indeed a engine for Norman Clark, so his race is over and done with. Meanwhile, we've got some good racing just behind, as you can see, Danny G and Gary Wellman side by side. Riley Curtis, into the wall. That's going to let Justin Howe through. Justin Howe makes a nice opportunistic move there, gets through as Wellman and Danny G make contact. Riley Curtis sitting right behind him at this stage on those fresher tyres. He's trying to get through. Daniel Hedersheed as well doing a good recovery too. Really nice recovery from him early on. We saw a little bit of a big bit of contact with Hedersheed earlier on. Luke Georgeson as well having a good run, just sitting in behind this group with Dwayne Priest in there too. So a lot of cars up in that pack at the moment, battling for position. Meanwhile, up the front, Stevie Dub is in the lead over Jason Martin. Dave Douglas in third with Justin Howe in fourth. Then it is that huge gaggle of cars behind Danny G.
Yeah, Danny G just battling away here as well. Now Riley Curtis got released from behind Gary Wellman after that sandwich press up against the wall, and Riley Curtis got some pace now. He's looking to get underneath Danny G, and he's going to get the move done, is he? They've got a big run on here. Josh Micklemore, I can see in the background, they're making his way back through the field. So with all these cautions, he's had a chance to catch back up. But this battle here between Riley Curtis and Danny G is on. Seeing if he can get down underneath him. Riley Curtis not quite able to do it in the background. Daniel Hedersheed under pressure here, but he's looking like he's going to get the job done over Gary Wellman to move up. Luke Georgeson's in this battle along with Lachlan Urquio as Dwayne Priest and Aidan Schultz join in the field. It's a huge, just a little bit of a bunch up there with Schultzy that affected Josh Micklemore. Micklemore, they're just getting bunched up a little bit. The 180 in the background of Jamie Budd as well, with Matt Hunter just getting the slow as well. So a little bit of a check up there for the pack, and you can just see the roll-on effect it has as they go back down through the field with such a short track. Aidan Schultz here jumps into pit lane, so he is going to try and get some repairs done.
Yeah, I think Aidan Schultz might have an issue. Jumping into pit lane under green is not the ideal time, so possibly a penalty for Aidan Schultz or something else. So that's going to be a rough one for him, because that's going to drop him down a lot of laps. So I think a penalty for Aidan Schultz. Stevie Dub, meanwhile, has got himself Jason Martin and Dave Douglas side by side. Dave Douglas trying to get between the two and become piggy in the middle. But Stephen Williams still trying to battle away. The front pack has started to form, and they are battling hard at the moment. Same with the pack behind them. There are some fantastic fights going on. This is where we need about 17 different cameras to watch all of the cars on track, because there are battles going all throughout the field. Dave Douglas, though, making it up to P2 now, doing a really good job to make his way through. Josh Micklemore on an absolute charge, gets sideways, manages to save it just about. He's going to get passed by Matty Hunter. Now Lachlan Urquio is going to be looking at him. Big snap by Josh Micklemore. He just gets it up in the wall. He's going to keep it up high and hope nobody gets caught up with him, and he's going to get back under pace. But that was disastrous for Micklemore. He was on a fantastic charge, but then all of a sudden that big snap, and that is going to be probably the one that's going to end his chances of a really strong finish tonight, unfortunately.
As it looks like Foster's pulled down onto the apron. I saw a big slide in the background there.
Engine, I think.
Engine gone. So he's out. Yep. So they're starting to drop out now as well, which will thin the field out, of course. Trucks
with damage. So those trucks with the front end damage have got some cooling issues as well. So that's the big one. So he is struggling with. His engine's absolutely gonzo. Meanwhile, Daniel Hedersheed is doing a good job in the 035s. He's trying to get past, but Riley Curtis has now got a good run He's just got up behind Danny G at the moment. The battle is tight here for 5, 6, and 7. Riley Curtis, remember, on those fresh tyres, same as Daniel Hedersheet. So both of those drivers on fresh tyres. Then it is down to Maddie Hunter, who's the next truck on fresh tyres, and Lachlan Urquio. So there are a few out there on fresh tyres, but at the moment, got to say, those old tyres are holding up pretty well, as usually you would expect at Bristol, in all honesty. It's not really that hard on tyres, but the fresh ones are looking to have a little bit more pace, possibly in this section.
So the gap still opened up between Stevie Dubb and Dave Douglas up at the front of the field, but Jason Martin pressing hard on the back of Dave Douglas. Gets a good run there on the high line. It's going to close that position out. I think Dave Douglas there just got on the apron, slowed him down a bit.
Justin Howe losing a handful of positions, falling back a little bit. Just got caught up a little bit. Luke Georgeson and Matty Hunter side by side as well. So there's a good battle going on here as well. It's all throughout the top 10.
There it is.
Justin Howe into the wall, and around he goes. Justin Howe just clipping the wall. Yeah, he just caught the wall, and unfortunately Luke Georgeson there, nowhere to go there. Nothing he could do in that respect. Yeah, you can't do anything in that respect. You're so close, you can't, even if he slammed on the brakes, there would be nothing that would happen there. And that's spun Justin Howe around. Good, strong performance from Howe tonight, but unfortunately that's going to cost him dearly. And that's going to drop him right to the back.
So race leaders into pit lane, 70 through 130 here tonight at Bristol. A good time to take the opportunity to get a stop done. And not the worst of incidents that we've seen tonight, so only a small amount of damage to those couple of cars as the infield care centre fills up. Carl, I'm not sure if we want to grab anyone out of there or not. I'll leave you be the judge of that.
I think we could grab a couple of people up quickly. Who do you want to go for, Chef?
Well, it's a lottery.
Well, we started off with qualifying with him, so we'll go with Tristan Cott.
No worries.
Tristan Cott, welcome to the booth. Unfortunately, to see you here during the race, of course. A bit of a tough night for you in your Aussie debut.
Yes, like always, you have got to have the initiation, which is the bump, the scrape, and the odd engine blowing. Yes, fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed this evening.
Oh, it sounds like a really rough one. So your engine went in the end?
Yes, and I had to creep into the pits on the wrong side, and I was actually asking Edward if I could use his pit crew.
But yeah, he's a very generous man sometimes, but obviously not one to share his pit crew tonight.
No, I think he was in the same boat as I was.
Yes, unfortunately, did see that engine go. A real big shame there. Look, commiserations on the engine going. Hopefully things go better for the rest of the season. I'll drop you back down for a second, Tristan. Thanks so much for joining us.
No worries at all, thank you.
But something's happened to Dave Douglas.
Yes, he's down in P12 now. Maybe he missed his pit box.
No, he stopped out on track. There was something that happened. He just stopped dead out on track for some reason. So I'm not 100% sure what's actually happened there with this. Oh, it's his engine. Like, no, there is smoke coming out of it. Maybe that's just. I don't know.
It's brought out another caution. So this is
something's happened to Dave Douglas there.
Very interesting. He's gone back into pit lane. He's getting tyres.
Going to quickly jump up and ask about that, Sean. I'll be back in a second.
No worries at all. So, anyway, at the moment, Aaron Hayden leading. The lights on the pace truck are about to go out, so he'll be restarting next to Stevie Dubb. So, Hayden not pitting in the last stop, so pitted on 36, which is why he finds himself up at the front of the pack as we go green again. It will be Aaron Hayden who's going to look to try and defend, but around the outside you can see there Stevie Dubb and Danny G just getting the job done. So then they're moving up. Jason Martin on the right hand side as well, top side of the track with Lachlan Urquio going through along with Riley Curtis as well. So there's a big charge in at that top line trying to make their way around Aaron Hayden.
Oh, big wreck! Big wreck. Luke Georgeson involved in that one.
Brent Hobbs as well, Dwayne Priest. So a few involved there. Let's go back here and try and unpack this one.
So it looks like Simon Hedishi has just got a little bit low, and Luke Georgeson's had nowhere to go, just got into the side, and then Georgeson's just snapped up the track, and that has gone really heavily into Brent Hobbs. Unfortunately, Brent Hobbs just got absolutely plastered against the wall and rolled over. So that car has gone rolling down the banking. If ever you needed proof of just how steep the banking here is at Bristol, you can see it there. That truck just rolling all by itself down the road it goes. That is the end of his night. The Sender Esports driver is going to be out of it.
So you can see there Dave Douglas just coming through behind. Did you find out what the story was with Big Dave?
Yeah, a couple of issues, and there was a issue with the pace car and missed box and then closed pit lane. So a caveat of issues, unfortunately.
No good at all. So that means that he's going to have to battle his way back up. But the caution that's just come out is going to help him a little.
Very much so. Might wrap up Norman Clark quickly. Good evening, Norman Clark. Welcome to the booth. Unfortunate to see you here in the race.
Yeah, Carl, hi.
We love speaking to you, Norman, but obviously we'd rather do it at the end of the race, seeing you up there in a good position. Tonight looked to be a rough one.
Yes, it was a rough one, and I was going to try and sort of mix it a bit from the beginning and not do my usual sort of drive. But a couple of just unfortunate things, no fingers pointed to anybody or anything like that, just a typical racing stuff on this sort of track, So, yeah, no worries, man. And then, of course, when I was trying to get going again, the motor just blew.
Yeah, I saw that one, unfortunately. Yeah. Look, good job to not bring out the caution when the motor blew, but really unfortunate for you and your teammate Foster tonight. Shame for Natari.
Yes, we seem to both have the same problem, but we were using a new kind of a Loctite on the Conrad, so I don't know if that was it.
Always that Loctite. Thank you so much, Norman.
Okay, Carl, all the best.
Obviously, Conrad just not working for them. They need to look at a different way of sealing it up, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't, if you can't trust Loctite, then what can you trust?
They'll need a few cans of start your bastard to get that engine going again, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good there from Norm Clark. I love it. 80 through 130. A few wrecks tonight. That is absolutely the case. So it's going to be, once again, Stevie Dubb taking us away. Definitely no secret that at the front is where you want to be tonight. The mid-pack wrecks. Josh Mickelmore has made his way back up into the top 10 as well after his early incident. So he's back fighting at the front. But we've got 15 cars, my apologies, 15 trucks even, on the lead lap here. As we're about to go green, it's going to be Stevie Dubb taking us away again. He gets a good start. Big check up at the back there. It's Josh Mickelmore. He goes further back there, just gets checked up. I think that was behind Justin Howe. And so that has caused the ripple effect, as you would expect it does. So that opens a gap between our lead now, 7 trucks, and the remainder of the field. But Stevie Dubb, Jason Martin get away really well with Danny G behind them. Lachlan Urquio trying to press his claim to P3. Behind him, Daniel Hedersheet.
Yeah, bit of a check up, and Dave Douglas ended up going into the back of Josh Mickelmore there, and that's what caused that big moment. And I think it's actually given him the 4X for a drive-through. So really unfortunate for Josh Mickelmore. That has really hurt his night. So Mickelmore had to come into pit lane, serve a penalty as well. And that's just disastrous for the night. But as we say, it's one of those nights where things can happen. Who knows what's going to happen at this race? We've still got 46 laps remaining here at Bristol. Who is going to be taking it out as they just get underneath Igor Burkic there, and Stevie Dubb in the lead ahead of Jason Martin and Danny G. Lachlan Urquio up in 4th place. 5th is Daniel Hedersheet. 6th Riley Curtis. 7th Matt Hunter. Justin Howe in 8th. 9th Dave Douglas. Aaron Hayden in 10th position at the moment for the After Dark team. So good run from Hayden at the moment, having a good run.
Yeah, he is. Luke Georgeson as well. Jamie Budd all doing good jobs this evening, getting up. Matty Hayden Matty Ray, I should say, in 11th position as well. So got a good top 13 trucks here who are going to close it out. There's a battle now developing with Daniel Heddersheed down in 5th position. He's got Lachlan Urquio and Riley Curtis on his outside. Excuse me. So they are battling away, and it looks like Matty Hunter there in the 48 as well, getting involved as Curtis gets the run on. He's going with Lachlan Urquio. They're going to try and press up towards the top 3 and see how they go. 88 through 130 here.
Yeah, just looking at that, there's a lot of damaged trucks out there, but there are a few that are still relatively clean looking. So keep an eye out for Stevie Dubb, Jason Martin, and Matt Hunter. Matt Hunter having a really good run at the moment, and that lovely liveried Toyota doing a nice job. The TRD Toyota looking very clean at the moment, just getting past Daniel Heddersheed. So he's looking really clean and not too much damage on that truck as we speak. Riley Curtis as well, quite a bit of damage on the front, but we know he's on some relatively fresh tyres. He came in with everybody else, of course, so he's had 2 stops rather than everybody else's 1, but he is trying his best to keep it up there as well. So lots of trucks in it tonight that have a chance, but you've got to say, up the front, Stevie Dubb has been doing a fantastic job of keeping it right in the lead all night long.
As Lachlan Urquio gets a little bit loose there, that's opening him up to Riley Curtis. Might try and make the move done, but Matty Hunter moving now up into P4. Matty Hunter, if you don't mind, doing a cracking job pressing there, just nice and clean and consistent, which is what you need to be here. He is doing that as Howe gets sideways, gets caught and recorrected by the trucks around him, and we do not go yellow.
No, he got contact from Dave Douglas, went up into Heddersheed, and Dave Douglas basically spun him back in the right direction. So a bit of a no harm, no foul there, as they just absolutely barreled it through. I think Douglas has got a bit between his teeth at the moment, because he is absolutely driving like a man possessed. A lot more aggressive than normal from Dave Douglas, so he is really on a charge.
It's in a little bit of a gap now, which serves you well based on what we've seen so far, but you can see there the damage to the front of the 199 lockdown entry.
Meanwhile, up front, Jason Martin's making a move on Stevie Dubb. He's trying for the up and under. Gets a really good run down on Stevie Williams at the moment. Williams still running that high line and still able to make the speed up there as well. Stevie Dubb just able to keep that truck running at a nice speed on that high line, and Jason can't do anything about it at the moment. So really good run from Stevie Williams at the moment. He is showing some great pace and absolutely keeping that truck with some great momentum. Jason had a good couple of miles per hour over Williams in that last run, but somehow Williams just managed to keep that momentum through the top corner. Jason Martin making another move again. He's trying for it once more, gets underneath Stephen Williams, tries to push him up a little bit higher. Still, Stephen Williams able to keep that momentum out the corner. Jason Martin just having to go back up behind him, and this is costing him a little bit of time as his teammate gets close behind him. But importantly, Stephen Williams keeping the lead.
They're defending very, very well.
Yeah, really good driving there. 31 laps remaining right here, and these are going to be a long one as the caution flag flies once more tonight.
Looks like Igor Burkitt might have lit it up. He had a pit lane, actually.
Nice. It's across the start-finish line there for Igor. He's just got up into the wall and then collected Scotty Griffiths, unfortunately, and spun right around. It goes round, around, right round, baby, right round. And he's managed to keep it at least on the low line and managed to keep it down there so nobody collected him.
No good at all. No caution for us.
Yes, the yellow is back out again. The pace car driver now having the most laps led. So doing a good job out there tonight. So I think it's time for another question, don't you, Stuart?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Just if you're just like, oh no, things can't get worse. Oh no, Carl's going to ask you a question.
I was just being quiet on the hope that I might not have copped another question, but that's okay.
That's your problem, is you stayed quiet. If you had spoken, I wouldn't have had time to speak. That's it. So, what was the first year that this track held a NFL game, a National Football League game, between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Redskins?
Wow, I didn't even know there was a football field in the thing in the middle of the track. Okay, let me ask you a different. Is it still there?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, it is. I believe it is. I think it got used last back in like mid sort of 2015 or something. But I think it's still available to be used if needs be.
Okay. Well, of course, the Redskins don't exist anymore in that name. Yeah, that doesn't help me at all. I'm going to have a complete stab in the dark and say 1967.
Oh, so close. So very close. But so far away. You managed to get the decade.
Right. So, does anyone in the crowd know then? In the 60s, what year was the first NFL National Football League game held between the Washington Redskins and who was the other team?
Philadelphia Eagles.
Philadelphia Eagles. Are they even called the Eagles anymore? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know that much about modern contemporary stuff. What are you talking about, Stuart? I only know history.
When are any of these NASCAR questions ever going to have anything to do with the Premier League? Like, then I'll know the answer. No, I probably won't. There'll be no connection line. So, let's see what happens. We're about to go green. On the cloud, that's before my time. Glenn, it's before mine as well, mate. So what I hear is that Stevie Dub gets away again. Same thing I've said multiple times tonight. Stevie Dub's still in the lead here. Restarts the race yet again. And he has got Jason Martin right behind him now. Martin gets a really good run there. Looks like maybe Stevie Dub missed a gear shift or something, but slowed right up.
We're going to get a caution, are we? No, we don't. Somehow we remain green. There was a few big incidents behind them. Gary Wellman was just harpooned into the wall. And they've managed to keep it green, so that's some good news. But yeah, just what a fantastic run from Jason Martin. But Stevie Dub just stepping up once again to take control and defend like an absolute boss.
Just tromped on it and managed to get it back there. It looked like Martin was going to take advantage. Not able to do that, and Stevie Williams back out in front, 23 to go here. Danny G behind him. He's got Matty Hunter pressing his claim.
Dave Douglas as well. Dave Douglas just getting down and making a move on Justin Howe at the moment. Dave Douglas's truck has seen better days for sure. That thing is beaten and battered, but Dave is absolutely thrashing every last tenth of a second out of it at the moment. I would not write off Douglas for a win tonight. We've only got 21 laps remaining, but with Dave Douglas absolutely chomping at the bit, he is flying through the field.
He's right on the back now as we ride with him of Matty Hunter. So he's got the boot in, and he's going to get the job done. He's underneath him there. He might even get the daily double. Hasn't quite got enough to get Danny G, but looks like he's going to line him up here. Carl, I reckon that truck looks in pretty good nick if that from here. The 199 doesn't look like it's got as much damage as those in front. Of course, Jason Martin closing up on the back of Stevie Dub as well. So the battle is on at the front. Talk about clean trucks. Those two rolled off the show line today and have not seen any damage in this race so far, but Dave Douglas just chopping them down. Of course, he's on fresh tyres, absolutely fresh tyres. 100 laps was when Douglas stopped. 69 laps was when the leaders stopped, so he has got that little bit of tyre advantage as we've got a caution.
Caution out, but I was going to say the only thing that Dave Douglas has to worry about is the engine. Justin Howe, I believe, is around, so Justin Howe has lost it. Has he got contact?
Yeah, it's just gone round.
Just gone round, I think. Unfortunately, just gets a little bit just gets a little bit of contact from Riley Curtis, sorry. So just a little tap from Riley Curtis. Unsettled the 78, and around she goes.
We'll have a quick look on board with Andrew Dyson there, because he's going to have a really good view of all of this. You can see it happen just up in front there, and then Dyson just gets through and just don't mind very much if I just wander through. And Phoenix Smokers DPR entry a little bit lower than we used to seeing Daiso down 18th tonight.
Yeah, been a rough night for Dyson. He got caught with some weird iRacing penalties, unfortunately, that's dropped him down 18 laps. So it's been one of those nights where a couple of weird penalties have happened as well. So the iRacing penalty system, it works pretty well sometimes, but then other times it is not so good.
If nothing else, it is consistent.
Consistent and being inconsistent, yes. So that is very much true.
So Glenn McLeod just jumping in and letting us know that it's now the Washington football team. I knew they weren't called the Washington Redskins anymore.
Yeah, so slightly old racist term for the team.
Yeah, not all that ideal. But it is what it is. So I couldn't help myself but have a look. So they actually, it was 2016 was the last time a football game was played in the middle of this raceway.
There you go.
Question for you, Carl. Who has the most career wins at this track? Reasonably famous NASCAR driver from the 80s, 70s and 80s.
Am I going to be Petty or Waltrip? So,
Well, you've got one of them. The question is, which one?
Waltrip.
Well done. 14 career wins. That's a lot.
That is.
A heck of a lot.
When you said I got one of them, I was just like, okay, then it's not going to be Richard Petty because that's too easy.
Yes, absolutely. I shouldn't take over. It's not my thing, the quiz. I was having a look at the football and I thought, you'll probably know the answer to this, so I'll ask anyway.
That's all right. You're trying to catch me out, you see.
It won't happen.
No, that's okay. That's quite all right.
So we've got 14 to go. It's going to be 12 to go by the time we actually get going green. We've got 100 laps, so we've got tyres for Dave Douglas that are 31 laps fresher than Stevie Dubb and Jason Martin. Last fastest lap around, he was quicker by nearly half a second over Williams and Martin, so gap was closing quickly. Are we going to see Double D here? Is this it? We're going to obviously want to see Green running to the end. Danny G, not too shabby either in the background. Matty Hunter's had a really strong night, so there's a couple of different drivers who might be able to take this one out who aren't necessarily in this front pair.
I've got to say, it's... look, Stevie Dubb's been absolutely fantastic tonight as we go back to green flag racing, but Double D is on an absolute charge, so got to say watch out for Double D here, but he's got to get past Jason Martin, who has got a very clean looking truck at the moment, as he makes a really good move on Stevie Dubb this time round. Jason Martin trying to make the move. We've seen Stevie Dubb doing really well on that outside line time and time after again, and once more Stevie Dubb manages to keep the high line from Jason Martin. Fantastic defence by Stevie Williams, just keeping Jason Martin behind him. There's nothing Martin can do at the moment, but Dave Douglas on the other hand thinks he can do it. He's going to make a charge down the inside of Jason Martin there, side by side, as they get onto the start finish straight into the first set of corners again. Double D is making a good run on that inside line, tries to get past Jason Martin, can't quite do it this time round, but he is really chipping away at the moment. Stevie Dubb is the cork in the bottle right there, stopping Jason Martin from managing to go a bit faster, and that's given Dave Douglas the opportunity to try and make the pass. But Dave Douglas effectively has to pass two cars right now, not just the one. There's not enough room to slip up between Martin and Williams as it stands. This is going to be a fantastic finish. Let's hope we can get these last 8 laps under green flag.
Looks like Dave Douglas getting close there. Riley Curtis also putting the pressure onto Danny G behind him. Matty Hunter involved in that one. The switch for position between Lachlan Urquhart and Matty Raymond as well. As Dave Douglas gets down underneath Jason Martin now, pushes him up into the wall. Presses him up into the wall is probably a better way of saying it. As they run now, he's got the nose just in front, but not quite getting the exit out of the corner there that Jason Martin got. So who is going to get this one done? 7 to go. We're about to go 6. It is 6 to go here. Stevie Dubb just managing the lead there at the moment. He's got 3/10. That could be enough at this point in time. 3/10 with 6 to go. Douglas just gets the nose in front again, but Williams, apologies, Martin will take that back. And he does, as he gets the better exit out of the high line there. Dave Douglas losing a little bit of time. So now Martin gets a little bit of a breath. Can he do anything about Williams at the front of this race?
And watch out for Riley Curtis. Riley Curtis getting a good run chasing up to these guys as well as Lachlan Urquio, who just gets underneath Danny G with Matty Ray following him. Oh, as there's a little bit of contact. Douglas on Jason Martin. Martin manages to save that truck, but Dave Douglas has got past. We've got 2.5 laps to go right here. Riley Curtis making a move on Jason Martin right here. It is absolutely neck and neck.
Curtis grabs the apron there, so that's going to slow him down and give Jason Martin a little bit of a breath. Lachlan Urquio getting pressure there from Mr. Sheen himself, Matty Ray. So the position's not decided by any stretch of the imagination here as Jason Martin comes under pressure as the white flag comes out. Stephen Williams greets it in the DPR entry.
P3 is the one to watch as Stephen Williams has got a good lead over Dave Douglas. Dave tries to make a bit of a run. Douglas can't quite make it work, so Dave Douglas is going to come home second. Jason Martin comes home third, and they spin across the line. It is going to be Riley Curtis, Matty Raymond, Lachlan Urquio, Danny G, Matt Hunter, and 10th place is Luke Georgeson with Aaron Hayden finishing in 11th. Good night for After Dark.
Yeah, absolutely. In 10th and 11th there. Stevie Dubb taking out the win. Dave Douglas, Jason Martin, P2 and 3.
Really big mention as well for Daniel Weaver up in P8 for the Send It team. Very, very good run for them. So, nice job from a couple of new teams there to get in the top 10. So, very good job from them. But look, it was Stephen Williams really just absolutely dominating that race. He almost got pole position, but he pretty much led from start to finish and was nearly unbeatable out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, rounding out the results for tonight, it was Stephen Williams taking the win with Dave Douglas in 2, Martin in 3, Riley Curtis in 4th with Matty Ray in 5th, Urquio 6th, and Danny G in 7th with Matty Hunter.
Wait. Sorry, we got updates, because there's been a couple of result changes because Lachlan Urquio has gotten a ping on that one. So that has put Aaron Hayden and Luke Georgeson both up inside the top 10. So After Dark scoring 9th and 10th. Lachlan Urquio dropping down to P11 with that penalty. So Stephen Williams first, second Dave Douglas, Jason Martin third, 4th for Riley Curtis, 5th for Matty Raymond, 6th for Danny G, Matt Hunter 7th, 8th for Daniel Weaver, 9th for Luke Georgeson, and 10th for Aaron Hayden.
Fantastic result for those gentlemen there. So we're just waiting for our podium to jump into the booth. Seeing if we're missing out on here. We're missing out on Jason Martin, so hopefully he'll make his way through in a minute.
Jason Martin may not know that he finished third. I'm wondering. Wait, no, he should do. He was pretty much there, so maybe Jason's.
Should be aware.
Well, we'll see how that one goes.
In the meantime, just a quick reminder that we will be back tomorrow night at 7:20 with the Oz Pro-Am Sim Series Pass 2, which will be on prior to the main Pro-Am event back in the GT3 product tomorrow night and coming to you from Sebring. So that will be something to have a look at. Sprint format back in action with the GT3 cars. So join us from 7:20 tomorrow night to have a look at that series, going from strength to strength, and see who might be able to take that out. As I just see there, Jason Martin has jumped into the room. So let's bring him in. We'll bring in our podium, have a chat with them, and see what is what.
Yes, so let us start with the third place finisher. P3 at the start, P3 at the finish there. Jason Martin, congratulations on the P3. Obviously, I imagine you would prefer a little bit higher, that little bit of contact there towards the end between yourself and Mr. Double D. But it seemed like a really strong race for yourself.
Oh, I've got no idea how I avoided that trouble at the start. I somehow avoided that, and yeah, pretty smooth sailing after that. And yeah, I was kind of expected Dave was going to try the bump and run because that bottom line just had nothing. So the only way he was getting past was to try that. So I knew it was coming, but no big deal. That's racing here.
Well, that is it at Bristol. You do have that to come. You were really battling it out with Stevie Dub as well all race long. You just could not get anything on that low line, and he just was so strong on that high line. How frustrating is that, first of all? But how much fun is it racing side by side like that?
Yeah, it's good fun, but frustrating at the same time. I thought I was a bit quicker, and I thought I'd saved lots of tyres just sitting behind for a while, and then when I'd finally go for the move, the bottom just had no drive on exit, and you just couldn't get that pass done. So, yeah, a bit frustrating, but still good fun, good close racing.
Yes, what we love to see, a bit of close racing out there, and you gave us a lot of that to enjoy. Thank you so much, Jason. The usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors.
First off, well done Stevie W for the win. Great drive. Pity it didn't come on the 300th race. That would have been awesome. Well done, Dave. No hard feelings. I was only joking in the green room before.
That's all good.
And yeah, thanks to the Mitch Motorsports boys. Wasn't that great tonight. And BK Designs for sponsoring the team. And of course, you guys for the broadcast. And ANZCAR for putting on the Oval League. It's probably the best in Australia, and all the best drivers want to be here. So great fun.
Thank you so much, Jason. We look forward to chatting to you again soon. Have a good night.
Cheers, mate.
Next up, we will head to Mr. Double D himself. We heard from you at the start of the race, and we're going to hear from you again at the end, Dave. Looks like you were a man possessed at the end of that race, really trying to get back up there.
Oh, mate, I was trying. Did I entertain? Hopefully I'd entertain you guys, at least. That's all I came out here to do.
I mean, they call this the world's greatest Coliseum, and you did entertain. It's a thumbs up from me.
Yeah, good. Look, it was all going pretty good there. I was just racing up behind Stevie and Martin there early on. No damage, no nothing. And then I happened to miss my box, missed the pit, missed everything. It all went out the window. Dropped all the way back, and then on one of those restarts, Josh Mickelmore must have had a dead car, and I just drove straight in the back of him on the restart, and it killed my car. So I thought, it's all over now, because the lights started flashing on the dash, everything. So I just held the pedal to the board, and was just just moving people out the road then. So it was good fun. But that late little caution there, I come in for some tyres. I thought, it's going to work for me here. It might be all right. Got 30 laps or so to go. And it worked until I got to the two cleanest cars on the track, which was Martin and Stevie Dubs. And I couldn't. I got close, but I just couldn't clear Martin off the turn. So I thought I'll just try to get on the outside. I didn't actually mean to get into him that hard, but I just had a good run coming. So I thought if he goes to the inside, so I'll just try running up top and just nudge him a little bit. But as I was saying, these other guys. Martin's one of the very rare few people that you can actually race that hard and make those types of moves with and get away with it, and both keep on racing. And as I said, that's just racing here at Bristol.
Well, it just means it's going to come back to you at some stage, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Riley said Martin will get me back, and I said, mate, and that's fair game. I hope he does, because as I said, that I love that sort of stuff, and we both got away with it. We still both got on the podium, and it worked out tonight.
So, given a sort of range from, melted cheese to the centre of the sun, how hot was your engine at the end of that race?
200, man. So it was at the top of the dial. There was no more. It couldn't go any further, and it was like that for the last 40 laps. I don't know how it didn't blow. So, like I said, I was just driving like a madman, because I figured it was only a matter of time, and I just wanted to have as much fun as I could.
So we were talking up here, and Stuart was like, "Oh, the damage doesn't look that bad." I'm like, "I reckon he's going to have some overheating issues." And I was surprised when your engine did not explode in a graphic explosion somewhere. It would have been a Michael Bay-esque explosion, but it didn't do it. And you managed to finish P2 despite a lot of calamities tonight. Congratulations on that, Dave. The usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors and people in general.
Just a big shout out to Martin. Obviously, he understands how it is, and it's great to see. And we can race like that. I love that we can race like that. And shout out to Stevie Dubs for getting the win here, which is good for him. He dominated tonight. I tried earlier in the night, and I couldn't get past him as well, and had a clean car. So well done to Stevie. He ran all the right lines here, and obviously just a shout outs for ANZCAR and FGM and you guys putting on the broadcast here. We watch it back later, have a bit of a laugh. get some hear how pumped up you guys might have got. Hopefully I put on a good show.
Thanks, Dave. And bonus if you can get the 2 questions right.
I'll answer it right now. P1 and Tennessee. Was it right?
Almost.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave. Next up, we head to the race winner, the man with the cleanest car and 302 ANZCAR starts underneath his belt. Stephen Williams, well done on that win, mate.
Yeah, cheers for that. That was awesome.
Look, didn't quite happen on 300, but it's been relatively good running since then, and you've managed to get that win in the Truck Series. Has been long deserved. It's been a bit of a rough season in the trucks, you've got to say. You've had some good, strong finishes, but that win has been eluding you for a little bit of time. And finally, it's come back to you here at Bristol.
Yeah, it was good to get out in front, and then I just knew I had to control that top line then, because otherwise, once I dropped the spot, there was no way I was going to get it back, just the same as the other fellas struggled to get a run. But, it was hard work with Jason there. He got a few good runs a few times, and I was just like hanging on for dear life on that outside line.
Yeah, there were a few times where it looked like Jason might have had an extra 5-10 miles per hour over you going into the corner, and somehow you managed to stick it on that outside line and just get that run off the corner. Gave us some fantastic action to watch, but the pressure, as you said, must have been immense.
Yeah, I knew I couldn't go too hard. I had to settle down when I could on the tyres, because I needed the tyre grip to be there, to be on the outside, to get on the throttle early enough to keep that momentum around the outside there. So I just hang back, try keep not push too hard, and then when it really mattered, just really stood on it then, and just hoped it held on.
Well, it definitely paid off for you. A pretty much perfect night. The only thing avoiding you tonight was really that pole position snuck away from Danny G. But starting P2, finishing P1, a really good performance. One last thing I want to ask you about. Obviously, we saw a few cautions. It is Bristol. That's kind of what happens. But how hard is it to get into the rhythm when you get that many cautions?
Yeah, well, I was expecting a late one there, and I knew Dave was on the new tyres, so I was praying that was no late caution. It was lucky it didn't happen. And yeah, just especially P1, getting the jump off the start, you've just got such an advantage, on the restarts to be able to get away, comfortably. But yeah, I just was hesitant to pit as well. I wasn't sure when to pit for tyres, because if everyone else doesn't go with you and stuff like that, you're stuck back in the pack, and then back with all the trouble.
Look, congratulations on tonight. Congratulations on so many starts with ANZCAR as well. And it's great to have you back up here in the booth as well and getting another win in the trucks for yourself. Before I let you go, the usual thing of shout out and love to all of those people out there.
Yeah, just a big thanks to ANZCAR for putting on the league, and FGM Meatcast for doing the streaming. Awesome to watch back during the week. And then the simrigs.com, Southwell Lifts and Hoists, Ben Max Mechanical, BetSmart Racing Service, Alcoholder, Phoenix Smokers, NP Designs, and all the boys from DPR Racing.
Congratulations tonight, Mr. Stevie Dubb. Well done again on that win, and I'm sure we'll catch you back in the booth at some stage soon.
Yep, hope so.
Well, Stuart, Bristol is done and dusted. That is the first race of the week done, but we have much more to come here on FGM eCast this week.
Yeah, absolutely. As we said, back tomorrow night, 7:20, with the Auspro Sim Series Pass 2 starting out there, and followed by the Pro-Am boys a little later on in the evening. So join us from 7:20 for that action from Sebring. On Wednesday night, we're back with the Thunder Series, of course, and then Thursday, the Chase returns as we head to Charlotte Roeville. So plenty of action on FGM eCast this week for all your eSport entertainment needs, of course. FGM eCast, your e-place for pace. As usual, Carl, thanks for joining us tonight, and to everyone who joined in the stream, grateful for you joining us for your Monday evening. We'll see you tomorrow night from 7:20. That's us on FGM eCast, out for you Monday evening. Enjoy the rest of the night, and we'll catch you tomorrow.